Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Adriane Hartigan-von Strauch, Quantum Love Coach and your Mars Venus coach residing in Bali at the moment. We have the morning of 8th November 2022 and very late today here Bali time, a full moon eclipse in Taurus will appear, and I have really prepared myself very well for that, and I tell you why. Because my natal sun sits pretty much in conjunction with this eclipse moon moment tonight and tomorrow morning in the southern hemisphere. So I just feel it has a lot to do with my very own evolution and progress, and therefore I feel I want to express myself today in this Q&A and in this sharing from the bottom of my heart. I've prepared 3 really deep and awesome questions, so I hope you enjoy listening. But before we carry on, I just want to do our usual cards, and I become very aware that there is an absolute love for picky card readings, and as much I'm not making this here a reading, but really a presentation of my work and my love and passion for relationships. But my mentor and idol, Colette Baron Reed, has prepared this beautiful Wisdom of the Oracle card deck, which is existing since quite some while, and I feel she is really a person at the moment to listen to. If you go on her channel and check her out, it's amazing the people she interviews and the messages she channels. So I gain massively from her knowledge and from her wisdom at the moment. But let's start with card number A. In your own mind, you just read ABC and just think a question or something that could, be answered right now. A card coming up that came up in Colette's reading actually for the month of November, which I watched, is Leg Up. And the way it's described is really that we are understanding that things take time and that we need a lot of rest and that we need a lot of awareness where and how to create this rest for ourselves. I think if you are busy and not understanding why things not happening the way it goes, then just a leg up and just allow good pauses and good recreational activities happening in your life. Now we come to card number B. Thinker. I believe you had that last month. It's really a card putting into perspective that our intellectual thinking and our observation about detail and how we are going on about life is super, super important. And the thinker really says, think first, keep time and space to make a process happen internally, intellectually, that gives you a sense of understanding where you're at and what is really important to you and how you can navigate the next step forward. And card number 3. Oh, it's coming out, Observer. And think an observer is somehow similar, but really different in regards to the fact that you become much, much more surrendered and much, much more observant about everything that is going on in and around you, and really make that your wisdom. The thinker is more a strategist. The observer is really a holistic, almost like a silent energy that is very, very clear about wants and needs, but yet very surrendered and unfocused on a particular outcome, but more on an outcome that serves everything that is observed in the bigger picture of our daily life and how the world is working at the moment for everybody. Yeah, let me speak about the three questions I have prepared. And I got a message from my higher callings to speak about past, present, and future relationship issues. And I want to start with the past. The past is really often anchored to karmic and parental and ancestral issues. Very often we are experiencing that a particular habit, a particular something, a particular bottleneck is reappearing in our relationships again and again and again. And that's not just love relationships. It can be something that's in the ether from a much, much more, existential level. That's how I want to call it. Existentially meaning that it's ingrained, that it's part of our almost relationship DNA, how we are set up, of a personality. If you look at astrology or the Enneagram, or particular, even human design, there is a particular, something, personality, vibrational structure in which we are born into. And these habits and these particular karmic repetitions are almost part of that play. However, if we not become observers of this play and really, really help to release the stronger, deeper structure of it, then we will continue again and again and again, seeing ourselves in the same situations with different people in a very, very similar type of emotional confusion. And I think I'm guided now to use the Work Your Light Oracle deck of Rebecca Campbell for each of these answers to give a deepening response to what I actually talk about here. Just this first card coming is share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution and expression. So what I'm talking about really is the willingness also to speak about these issues and to come out and play. And maybe you have someone you talk about it, in a more professional and more deeper sense. Here we coaches, we love coaches, we healers, we light workers, we channelers. There is a wealth of amazing people around that could help you to actually go into the past and look into the karmic structure of your ancestral line and see where is this born. And I personally had a clearing just a few days ago where I thought it sits in my parental space. And I really did dive deep into, and guess what? I found the bottleneck in the relationship with one of my grandmothers. And it was very, very interesting the way the voices came back at me and gave me the answers in this kind of journey process, in this healing dialogue, was so different to how I would have talked to my mother, that in the moment I actually received the answers and the messages, I realized this has nothing to do with the direct line of my parents. It's actually a much more ingrained female ancestral line issue I have to look deeper into. So share your voice is saying, go out and talk with others about this and really find a community of people, maybe even women's circle, men's circles, where you can voice them. That's a very communal way. And if you want to do it with someone who helps you one-to-one, I coach also like my services, and what I offer, but maybe a wonderful contribution to your process. The second layer I want to talk about in the now is love and money. There is so much about money and so much about earning and so much about sustainability in our economic situations. And I listened to a man I totally adore. His name is Ken Honda, and he has created Happy Money. And for those of you who have listened to him and know him, will understand what I'm talking about. He has a very holistic, very humanized, heart-centered approach to relating to me. And it was a very long interview, and I really sustained my patience, really take the words in when I listened a few days ago. And there was a moment where he spoke about, and he was asked about the future and what actually is the one way of, feeling secure and comfortable and also safe in our relationship with money in these very, very changing and critical times. And he said, it's our relationships. It's really the relationships we have with other human beings. And it was so enlightening because I see this in my love coaching so often, that people have issues between love and money, and that money and the relationship to money and the different views about money can almost kill relationships or make marriages dysfunctional. And I think this total understanding that we start with our closest relationships like partners and children, but also go out and look in our communities, and not just from a perspective of the daily, what we fulfill for our needs, but it's also what do we want? What is the greater vision we have? What is the expression of our professional and purpose-based activities? And how can we include other people in that? And what relationships do we have already that nurture these purposeful activities and these visions we have for making a contribution to others' lives? But also, it's a much deeper understanding that ultimately we also have to care about those people who might have not the means, the intelligence, or the economic or social background to really, really do it themselves, maybe building community or being part of a charitable or some kind of organization or group that helps others to get in a much, much better social economic state. So I think living in Bali, there is a lot of opportunity to look into that. And I have been really, really curious about the opportunities to contribute in this way and making relationships happen that make other people happier, more resourceful, and ultimately, happier in their relationships. It's really about relating, because if you have a lot of money and you can't share it with people, it's a very sad thing, because you want to understand that money is an energy and that it needs to stay in flow and shared, and that we might go through phases where it's not as easy, but if you just keep going and let the flow happen, then amazing things can happen in our relationships, and how we actually build not strategic relationship or having money, but creating relationships and nurturing them for giving everybody and making everybody aware of the opportunity to share and to help each other have better lives and more opportunities to grow. And now, number 3, it's looking into the future. And it's really about, oh, I forgot the card, one moment. The age of light, maybe that helps. The age of life, you've been training for this for a lifetime. Yeah, I mean, money and love is something that is a lifetime issue. So, and this card actually relates to my third question I want to answer, which is how to manifest resourcefully love and relationships in this very long time. Not so much from the financial or economical side, but from the love and emotional side. And I work very deeply on, the concept of intimate intelligence. I'm just preparing actually a retreats program, as well as writing on a piece of art to publish very soon. So I feel intimate intelligence is something we absolutely have to develop. And when I look at dating experiences, even I have myself as a single lady in my age, I see that the first step, that is actually a very basic interest in who we are and what we could be for one another, is already in most connections being absolutely right at the start. Dating experiences that end up in this whole woo-wah and woohoo of 15,000 expectations and ideas of making it quick and easy, and yeah, just having fun or being this or that for one another. Yeah, I mean, that is maybe for some people all they need right now. But if we talk about love relationships and something that is really sustainable and long term and really fulfills our life and becomes a really important part of who we are, then something much, much more important has to happen. And intimate intelligence is a 4-step process I teach and go through with my clients. But it really starts with the interest in the other beings and the willingness to learn and educate. So my big message for this question of how to manifest in these very times, like similarly you say, how do I manifest money? I manifest it with good relationships. Here I say, how do I manifest love, with great relationships, and great relationships start with the willingness to be really able to see the good things and the valuable aspects of that person that comes over. And if you're just interested in something that person has to give, but not everything, then you're missing a huge opportunity to learn and grow. So the card that comes up for this third question here is soul family and calling your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. And I think that answers a lot. We are in a time that aloneness is one of the greatest global epidemics. I think it's not that sense of destruction in everything around us. It's the destruction in our souls and in our hearts and minds that we feel very, very isolated and very, very disconnected from other people and from the world. And I think in order to heal that, it's very, very important that we become a learner of love. I call myself sometimes an expert in certain areas of love because I really studied it and I really lived it with all my heart and soul for 44 years of my life. But I would like to really emphasize the importance that when we go into intimate spaces, and this is not just sexual intimacy, that can be close business relationships, this can be family relationships, friendships that really matter to us, that we have a very, very, very strong understanding that there is a need for being very, very almost internally organized to how we have the opportunity to expand and develop and deepen that connection. So I start with the interest in each other. And if you're curious what the other 3 are and how they come out and play out in our existence, then call me. Just book a 30 minutes discovery session with me. The connection, link is in the description box below here on YouTube. And I really, look forward to have a personal conversation and to really speak about these things that I mentioned today, the whole aspects of, past relationships, ancestral lines, the connection to various areas in our lives. It's not just the financial, that's also, health. It's external relationships that are sitting in the, in the sideline, extended family and friends and, colleagues and community members. So there is so much to look at that has an influence of how we feel and what we can actually develop in a deeper way. But it's almost fascinating to explore what else is there and to be asked the right question by a love coach or a personal coach, or as it is called, it can change your life forever. All right. So I offer online work. I offer work face-to-face. I will return to New Zealand mid-December and be there for approximately 3 months. So I look forward to beautiful events in Auckland and Waiheke Island for Valentine's for my retreat I conduct between the 16th and 20th of February. I will be at the launch for Love in Coaching. I'm really proud that Love in Coaching is become a #1 Amazon bestseller. If you're interested to learn more about Mars Venus coaching and John Gray's way of infusing and training us coaches, I conducted an interview with the CEO of Mars Venus Coaching USA, Richard Bernstein, only a couple of weeks ago. So go on the channel here, on the YouTube channel, and you find that interview, and it gives you a lot of information about Mars Venus coaching and also about the book. And ultimately, I want to say, enjoy this amazing full eclipse that is happening over the next 12 to 24 hours. I mean, it's an eclipse process that will bring so much into motion. And for all you fellow Tauruses or the Scorpios in our circles here, I wish you a particular special process, because it is really, really an incredible time for us to see in our natal charts these astrological happenings having a huge and amazingly existential impact of where we're going now into the future. So thank you so very much, and I wish you a wonderful month of November, and see you again for my full moon Q&A in December. Thank you so much. Namaste.